Hello, it is I, Aaronhalo18 here. Guys and girls, and today's video will be all things new. Our reading plan day 4. Let's go all things new, I guess. I'm trying to do it here. And it starts off with a devotional, of course. And they're doing Luke chapter 9, verse 28 through 36. It's called, devotional is called Missing It. Still rubbing the sleep from his eyes, Peter sees something strange. Jesus was in the same place he had been when he closed his eyes to sleep. But everything else had changed. Bright white robes, lights from the heavens, and two men that Peter was somehow able to recognize as Moses and Elijah. And entered the scene. The next thing Peter realized was that the men were beginning to leave. The most monumental moment in history for this Jewish man, and he was sleeping. Trying to salvage the moment, he cries out, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents. Maybe if we offered a camp out, Moses and Elijah would decide to stick around a bit." Even as it came from his mouth, he probably realized how silly it sounded. Luke tells us he said this, not knowing what he said. It was a great spiritual moment. It was the camp high. The moment of conviction where the pastor delivered that home run sermon. The great might of worship taking your breath away. And Peter did not want to leave. Did not want to let it pass. How often we do the same thing. We want the feeling, not the life. We crave the high, not the endurance. We seek the high, not the sacrifice. God wants better for us. Even as Peter yammers on, the Father speaks to the moment. "This is my Son, my chosen one. Listen to him." The feelings, the moments, the high can all be great. Only the Son makes us new. Peter wanted something special. The Father wanted Peter to be made into something special. When we bounce from event to event, hoping it will sustain our faith, sustain our faith. We will be disappointed every time. Those times make us feel new for a while. But God is calling us to follow Jesus and be changed for a lifetime. Enjoying the mountaintop experience is fun. Keep this man there, right? Enjoying the mountain.
What do you want?
Hand. I'm doing a video.
Okay.
My thumb,
Oh. You can pause it?
Sorry for the minor interruption there, guys. I hope you can hear what I'm saying to you in the video. This is right here. I'll continue. Enjoying the mountaintop experience is fun, but never let it take your eyes off the one who makes you new. Reading Luke chapter 9, verse 28 through 36. I usually like to read the whole chapter off. Though, but yeah, that's just me. And the reflections are usually give me like 2 or 3. First one is, how often do we attend a conference, concert, or church service, hoping for a moment like Peter had on the hill? Not all the time. I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions. Question 2. How long do those feelings last? Question 3. What can you do to keep Jesus the focus both on the mountain and after you've come down? Not argue or yell or get argumentative with others. I guess. And I like this series I'm doing. This reading plan. It's a pretty cool one. They give you pretty interesting questions too, and about how you do it with faith and all of that, I guess. And I'm doing pretty good with my faith. I think. Yes, I have my moments and struggles, and like everyone else, but I'm still pulling along. I'm still doing really good here, and yes, I do believe that Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit are the same. Alright, I don't know. I'm not really good at answering these questions. I guess I'm trying to answer them. I try to go to church services myself. On Tuesday nights at church, I think. But when the weather is good and stuff. I don't know how long the feelings last, but I guess they last forever sometimes. When you have feelings about Jesus, they last forever. But feelings about other things don't last. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I answered the questions so far. And you can comment down below to answer the reflection questions here. Alright, I'm off to Luke chapter 9 now. Verse 28 says right here, now about 8 days after these sayings, he took with him Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. And as he was praying, the appearance of his face was altered, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Now Peter and those who were with him were heavy with sleep. And when they became fully awake, they saw his glory and the 2 men who stood with him. And as the men were parting for him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, is it good that we are here? Let us make 3 tents, one for you and one for Moses, and one for Elijah, not knowing what he said. As he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my son, my chosen one. Listen to him. And when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone, and they kept silent and told no one in those days anything of what they had seen. I'll read from verse 1 to 27. Jesus sends out the 12 apostles, and he called the 12 together and gave them power and authority over all demons and to cure diseases. And he went and he sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal. And he said to them, take nothing for your journey, no staff, nor bag, nor bread, nor money, and do not have 2 tunics. And whatever house you enter, stay there, and from there depart. And wherever they do not receive you, when you leave that town, shake off the dust from your feet as a testimony against them. And they departed and went through the villages, preaching the gospel and healing everywhere. That's pretty amazing. I guess, yeah. The stories of Jesus are pretty amazing, and good. I'm having fun with this. I'm enjoying this so far. Herod is perplexed by Jesus. Now Herod the Tetrarch heard about all that was happening, and he was perplexed, because it was said by some that John had been raised from the dead, but some by some that Elijah had appeared, and by others that one of the prophets of old had risen. Herod said, John I beheaded, but who is this about whom I hear such things? And he sought to see him. Jesus feeds the 5,000. On their return, the apostles told him all that they had done. And he took them and withdrew apart to a town called Bethsaida. When the crowds learned it, they followed him, and he welcomed them and spoke to them of the kingdom of God and cured those who had need of healing. Now the day began to wear away, and the 12 came and said to him, send the crowd away to go into the surrounding villages and countryside to find lodging and get provisions, for we are here in a desolate place. But he said to them, do you give them something to eat? They said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we are to go and buy food for all these people. For there were about 5,000 men. And he said to his disciples, have them sit down in groups of about 50 each. And they did so, and had them all sit down. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing over them. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples to set before the crowd. And they all ate and were satisfied. And what was left over was picked up 12 baskets of broken pieces. Peter confesses Jesus as the Christ. Now it happened that as he was praying alone, the disciples were with him. And he asked them, who do the crowd say that I am? And they answered, John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others but that one of the prophets of old has risen. And he said to them, but who do you say that I am? And Peter answered, the Christ of God. Jesus foretells his death, and he strictly charged and commanded them to tell this to no one, saying, the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed. On the 3rd day be raised. Take up the cross and follow Jesus. And he said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. For what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself? For whoever is ashamed of me and of my words of him, will the Son of Man be ashamed when he comes in his glory, in the glory of the Father, and of the holy angels? But I tell you truly, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the kingdom of God. The Transfiguration. Now about 8 days. Yeah, I can read it again. Yeah. And now about 8 days after these things, he took with him Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. And as he was praying, the appearance of his face was altered, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory, and spoke of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Now Peter and those who were with him were heavy with sleep, but when they became fully awake, they saw his glory and the 2 men who stood with him. And as the men were parting for him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, is it good that we are here? Let us make 3 tents, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Not knowing what he said. And he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my son, my chosen one. Listen to him. So when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. And they kept silent and told no one in those days anything of what they had seen. Jesus heals a boy with an unclean spirit. On the next day, when they had come down from the mountain, a great crowd met him. And behold, a man from the crowd cried out, Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. And behold, a spirit seizes him, and he suddenly cries out. It convulses him, so that he foams at the mouth, and shatters him, and will hardly leave him. And I begged your disciples to cast it out, but they could not. Jesus answered, O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you and bear with you? Bring your son here. And while he was coming, the demon threw him to the ground and convulsed him. But Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit and healed the boy, and gave him back to his father. And all were astonished at the majesty of God. That's pretty awesome. That he took out demons and healed the sick. That's pretty awesome. To me, I guess. That's a wonderful thing. That Jesus has the because he is God, and he has the ability to heal. And okay, I'll continue now. Jesus again foretells his death. But while they were all marveling at everything he was doing, Jesus said to his disciples, Let these words sink into your ears. The Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men. But they did not understand this saying, and it was concealed for them, so that they might not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about his saying, Who is the greatest? An argument arose among them as to which of them was the greatest. But Jesus, knowing the reasoning of their hearts, took a child and put him by his side, and said to them, an argument arose among them, and which of them was the greatest. But Jesus, knowing the reason of their hearts, took a child and put him by his side, and said to them, Whoever receives this child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all is the one who is great. anyone not against us. Anyone not against us is for us. John answered, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him. Because he does not follow with us. Sorry about the noise back there. I don't know why I did this now. Nobody can hear me talking. I said because he does not follow with us. Yeah, I gotta wait there. Alright. Because he does not follow with us. Like Jesus said to him, do not stop him, for the one who is not against you is for you. Alright. It says right here, John answered, Master, we saw someone cast out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him. And he does not follow us with us. For Jesus said to him, do not stop him, for the one who is not against you is for you. A Samaritan village rejects Jesus. When the days drew near for him to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem, and he sent messengers ahead of him. He went and entered the village of the Samaritans to make preparations for him. But the people did not receive him, because his face was set toward Jerusalem. And when his disciples, James and John, saw it, they said, Lord, do you want us to tell fire to come down from heaven and consume them? But he turned and rebuked them. And they went on to another village. The cost of following Jesus. As we are going along the road, someone said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Another he said, follow me. But he said, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. And Jesus said to him, leave the dead to bury their own dead. But as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Yet another said, I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at my home. Jesus said to him, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. Yep, pretty amazing stuff, if you ask me. And, sorry about the puree machine and stuff. It's my dinner time here, yeah. I'm a pretty cool guy, and I love God, and I love learning about him, and I want to have a better relationship with him. I just need to stop having such issues with myself, and be a better person, and get along with others. Yeah. And I hope you liked what I read there, and all the questions I asked, and everything. So, what do you guys think about what I read in Luke chapter 9? Was it good? Did you like it? Was it interesting? Did you learn a lot from it? I hope you did. I hope you give me some comments on what you thought about my video. And, yeah. And, of course, I always do my intros. I gotta go now. So, I've done it for like 24 minutes now. I gotta go. Okay. It is I, Aaronhalo18, signing off. And see you in the next video, guys and girls. Please rate, like, favorite, subscribe, view, thoughts, and opinions. I hope you liked it and enjoyed it for your viewing pleasure, guys and girls. Stay tuned for more, guys and girls. As Ghost Rebel says, please drink some hot chocolate, and I'll see you all later. And God bless you, and have a good night. All right, bye.